I take some, when you put them in series, you want to spread them out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Spread the resistors out. You just, however the resistor's already got leads on it, just put resistor to end to end. But I would use some shrink tubing and, get as much shrink tubing as you can before the connection on each resistor. Extend it out. And then, when it's all strung out, then you go ahead when it's out on the bench, plug it in and see how much heat you're getting off of that. Measure each resistor and see how much heat it's putting out. And if it looks like the pretty even heat and all that, it's 100 degrees or more, you got it made. So then what I would do then, I would take epoxy, mix it up, and then get one of those like acid brushes, a piece of junk brush, and just brush from the end of the resistor to the end of the resistor. Even this stuff, even the shrink tubing, just put a coat of epoxy on there and then put a little bit more on each end of the resistor. Build it up there, and then let it harden. Let it harden for at least 12 hours. And then the epoxy is insulating you from the AC, okay? And on that case though, you'll have to come in with AC on one end. On one end, with AC coming in, on the other end of the AC line, I had to come off the other end and come around to your AC inside the receiver. But that's the next thing I'll have to do when this thing goes bad. So hopefully, these things are, when I looked them up, they're guaranteed for 5 years, 100% replacement, and they say it lasts about 10 years. But like I say, this receiver is about 1957, 58. So, hey, it's burned out. It's gone. So anyway, we got that. Now the next thing I want to do is I got this thing ready to go back in the tube. It's ready to go back in here. But I'm looking at this thing, and I've only got so much of this stuff. Now, how packed this was in here, I don't know. The only thing I can think of, this stuff here, what it does, it gets around the tube. The tube is hot. It hits this stuff, and it conducts it. The heat conducts to the outer tube here on the inside, and then the tube radiates. So instead of having an air, just trying to heat the air up, which it will work, because I had this thing sitting just like this, like you see. I had the hole in the end, and I had this sitting here, and I just wanted to see if just having air would heat this. All right, and I got 105 degrees, and I'm using one of these electronic lasers. Okay, electronic laser. So I'm hoping that with the metallized, if that's what it is, fill, the temperature will even come up higher. I like to see about 150 or something like that on there, but I don't know what's normal. I never had one of these receivers before, so I'm just experimenting. This when this goes back in, it has a notch in here, keyway, and this tube has a keyway because the metal bends over. I actually had to get in there with a grinder, a Dremel tool, with a stone, and I had to grind that notch out of there in order to get this thing back together. So they go back in together, but it's still, this notch, and still needs to line up with this groove, this fold over piece inside here. So you want to do that. So now I'm ready to put this stuff in, but I'm looking at this thing and I see here, let me see this, that's all the way in. So I only got about 1 inch of open space up here, and down here I got about another 1 inch on this end. This is wasted space. There's no heat here. So what I'm going to do right here is a scratch pad, and it's metallized. It's brass. Okay, so it won't rust. It passes the electric, which I don't care. I don't want to pass electric anyway. But being metal, it's going to pass heat. It's going to heat up, and it's going to dissipate heat to somewhere else. So I'm going to, with a pair of ordinary scissors, I cut off a hunk. And so what I'm going to do is sort of put this hunk around here, okay? And I'm going to shove that up there because I want all this here, all this I got, to pack good around this tube to get the maximum heat out of the tube transferred to the outer tube. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put that in there on this end right here and see if I can get it in there. And it might be a little hassle, but I'm shoving it in there right now, and we'll see here. I haven't seen any other YouTubes or anybody that has done this before. So I've got to do it, okay, it's going in, but I just got to shove it in a little more. I just want to fill that gap. I don't want that conductive sand, or whatever you want to call it. I call it sand, but wasted down at the base. There's no sense in that. Okay, so we're working on more. Get it down in there. There, hey. There it is. Okay. And eventually what I'm going to do is I'm going to be cutting this off anyway. There's a reason for it. I'll show you in the receiver. Now I got that. And it snapped in good. It ain't going nowhere. I don't know what I did with the little screws. Threw them away. Okay, now on this one here, I can't get this out no matter what, and I don't want to get in the groove here and bust it apart either. So it's in here and it's not going anywhere, so that's fine. So what I did originally, like I said, I drilled a little hole and then shoved something down in there and felt there was, hey, there is something up in this tube here. So now what I did was I took just take your regular drill set right here, and just keep on going one drill number size, just go one size up at a time. This is like, it's plastic, but then it's, I don't know, some other stuff in it, it can crack. It feels like it would shatter, like glass, okay? So I didn't want to do that, so I just kept on the next size drill, next size drill, next size drill, drilling with a variable speed drill, and just drilled it out to the biggest I could get it without going past this little lip on here. And what I'm going to do now is get this stuff down inside here. But by boring this hole bigger, I have a better chance of getting things down in here easier. And maybe even if I have to, shove a wire like this down in there and pack it. What I did was I forgot to put some tape on the end there, but it doesn't matter. It ain't going to do nothing. And besides that, remember this. You're going to have a 1/4 amp fuse. Your radio may already have that already. If you got the later version of the SX101, what they did was they added a filament transformer for the oscillator tube, and it had its own fuse, and that fuse also took care of this. Well, the 101 Mark 1A didn't have that. I added the transformer myself. I rewired a 12-volt transformer, rewired the filament on the oscillator, and also I made a place to put this in the radio too. So it's the 1/4 amp fuse in the back of the radio. And the fuse that we want to put we have to drill a hole in the chassis. It's right in you put it in on the power transformer side. The side of the radio where the power transformer is, right down below that, there's room to bore a hole and put a regular small fuse holder in that, and that works out fine. So anyway, I'm ready to pack this now and get the stuff in. But the thing is, I had to come up with some way of getting this stuff down in here. I can't pour it like this, it'd be all over the place. So I had to come up with a funnel. So I looked around and I had a little gizmo here. It was a plunger in there for injected grease at one time. And I bored the hole out a little bigger, and hey, you know what? That fits. I can fit that in there kind of tight. Yeah, that works good. Okay, and I got a bigger hole. But I want something even bigger than that. I don't want to be spilling stuff all over the place, so I had me an ordinary funnel. Now, this funnel, it's for putting oil in your car or something. And that funnel was, the tip of it here was too big to fit in here, but hey, it fits in there perfect. So I can just pour my stuff in here, shake the tube, tap the tube, let the stuff settle down in here. When it's all down in there, then I'll see what I'm going to do after that. If there's more space, then I'm prepared for that. I can either cut this up some more and jam it down in there, or I can go and I can put aluminum. I got this from my machine shop. Before I thought of this stuff, this week I went to the machine shop and I got aluminum shavings. You want aluminum shavings or brass or copper shavings. You don't want steel. Steel rust and then it becomes an insulator. Won't conduct. Well, I want to conduct the heat. So anyway, if I run out of stuff, I can either cram this stuff up, shove it down in there. You know, it's better than nothing, better than just an air gap. Okay, so after I got all that, when I finished with that, then of course I got to seal the hole. And the best thing for that, simple, is a Band-Aid. Okay, just cut one end off the Band-Aid. This stuff is so good now, it sticks to the skin, man, it's hard to get off. But I'll just put a Band-Aid across there. That holds the metal from all the stuff from falling out. Then I'll do my test here on the bench, and we'll see how hot it gets, if it works. And if it works, I'm happy with that. Then with the Band-Aid across it, all I got to do is mix up a little dab of epoxy. And with a junk paintbrush, just brush over the Band-Aid and around the edges so it don't peel back. Just brush around a little bit, a light coat. That's all you need. And then in 24 hours that'll be sealed tight and nothing will get out. And then your tube will be all done, ready to be installed in the radio. And I'm hoping it does the trick, because this SX101 drifts on sideband. Okay, but everyone tells me this is why they put the tube in there. Once you get the tube in there, the thing is real stable. Well, I got an old SX99, and after 1 hour, that put it on sideband, the thing plays all day, and it don't have a tube. So go figure. Anyway, the next thing I'll do is pour the stuff in the tube and see how it comes out. So I'm gonna set that up. I'm gonna set it up on a vise here. Stick it in a little vise like that. And I can pour it in there. So I'm going to change the angle of the camera and all that, but we'll see how it works. And I'll turn the camera off for now and get this thing all filled up and packed up, and then tell you how it went. And then we'll continue on. So let me turn this off for now, and I'll be back with you when I finish this next stage.